Good evening. The time is now 6:34, and we will now reconvene into open session. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I will now entertain a motion for interdistrict transfers 1 through 8.
I make a motion, we approve inter-district transfers 1 through 8.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye. We will now, also, we will be going back into closed session after tonight's regular session. We will now move on to recognition. Jennifer, will you do us the honor?
All right, so this is the time of year when we get the opportunity to recognize our classified and certificated employees of the year. So at each site, they look at the requirement and the categories available and select employees. And then tonight we get to recognize them. So we're going to start with our classified employees of the year. And Santa Lucia, if you're ready to speak, yes, you'll be coming up to the microphone. We're starting with your classified employee of the year. So in the category of paraeducator, we're very pleased to recognize and thank Elizabeth Serrano.
Elizabeth has dedicated 2 decades to the district as a paraeducator, having worked and started at King City Early Education Center, then KCAM, and currently at our site. She originally is an our DLI paraeducator, and however currently took a quick essential para position, and she quickly just built strong connections with her students and the time that she has put in with them, and they love her to death. Additionally, she is active in 3 after-school programs, our Art, Garden, and Adventure Club, and she engages in various activities in her community church. So Santa Lucia is truly blessed to have such a dedicated employee, and we appreciate her with all of our heart.
I'd like to call up Lori Rates.
Ms. Rates serves in 2 job roles at Delray Elementary. She's a clerical assistant in our office and also a yard duty supervisor. Lori is punctual and dependable. She is very knowledgeable about her job duties, and she performs both roles very well. One of her greatest strengths is how supportive she is to our students. She understands that students need structure and support. We appreciate that she gets to know our students on a personal level and that she supports them as needed in a positive manner. She consistently reminds the students of the importance of being safe, respectful, and responsible. In addition to her Delray job responsibilities, she serves our students after school in the Pro Youth After School program. Great job, Lori. She's been here longer than I have, 16, 18 years? 18 years. So she's deserving. Okay, wait. You go right here. Thank you.
It's my pleasure to recognize Karen Karen began this journey with us at the very beginning of COVID. She took the job in January of 2020, not knowing what she was in for. Since that time, we've bonded over that. She is one of the most dedicated individuals I've ever met. She's dependable. She's really the glue behind our Ed Services department. There are 14 people under the two of us, and I say that because she helps me with all their needs. And we couldn't do it without her being proactive and supportive of all the things that fall into curriculum instruction and accountability. So, and she's doing all of this and going to school full-time. So big kudos to her. She's had lots of goals. We've seen her get her bachelor's, and she's currently working on her master's in school psychology.
We'll have lots on, so do.
Now moving on to Teachers of the Year, we're going to begin with Santa Lucia School. So at Santa Lucia School, we would like to thank and congratulate Juan Mendez.
When Mr. Menendez came to teach here in King City, I'm sure he didn't anticipate being here for over a quarter of a century. But here we are, 25 years in, and he's still supporting our students. If we were a sporting organization, we would refer to him as a franchise player. He anchors our upper grade instructional team and consistently posts some of the best numbers in terms of test results and growth. He works hard with and on behalf of our students. He takes great pride in the consistency, structure, and rigor that he provides in the classroom. He fosters and guides his students to a love of reading, and the growth in math that his students experience is next level. He works after school in an ELOP program with Minecraft, where students went beyond using one of their favorite building theme online games and had students around campus observing and measuring as they prepared to make a model of our school. He is an important part of our school's SST team, being sure that we continue to meet the needs of our students and support our staff and parents. We are grateful for all these things, and we are proud to call Juan a superstar at Santa Lucia, where every day is a great to be a superstar.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Oh, nice.
I wasn't sure if you wanted flowers.
And thank you to everyone, the board, everyone here, my wife, person I love the most in this world, Kevin Roberts. Look at him. That's my grade. Thank you.
Next up, Del Rey. We'd like to thank and congratulate Diana Taylor, Del Rey's
Ms. Taylor is a fantastic intervention teacher. She also serves as a mentor to many of our new teachers. Additionally, she is one of our SST leads, where she schedules and facilitates SST meetings for staff and families. Diana always goes above and beyond for students and staff at Del Rey. She is a great resource for teachers who need assistance with the academic needs of students. As an intervention teacher, she helps many struggling students work to their full potential. Diana is a lifelong learner who is consistently learning new teaching strategies that she's willing to share with others. She seems tireless in her work to ensure students have literacy skills to succeed in life. She is a great resource for teachers who need assistance and goes above and beyond for students and staff. She is an incredible asset to Del Rey Elementary School, and we are lucky that she shares her expertise. Thank you. You're welcome.
We would like to invite up Mr. Johnny Alvarez. The way we do nominations is at KCAM is by their peers. And so instead of reading something nice that I scripted, I want to read what his peers said about him, because that truly is where we get the heart of all that Mr. Alvarez does. He does so much for all of our fifth grade students, not just his class. He supports his team in any way he can and always has a positive attitude. He is also part of many school site teams. He makes connections with his students. They enjoy learning and being part of his class. He jumps in to help with any school or staff need. He is currently assisting students and teachers with SST concerns. Mr. Alvarez has stepped into a leadership role for PTO. It is a pleasure working with him on staff. And lastly, Johnny is an amazing teacher. He has taught 2 hard grade levels, kindergarten and 5th, and has risen to the occasion. He has also become really involved in the school as a whole. He is on many committees and is a grade level lead. He is involved in PTO and attends all school events. He has not had a consistent grade level team, but is always willing to accept the challenge of working with new people. He is an outstanding teacher. And every one of these comments that was made by our teachers is absolutely correct. He has really taken on a leadership role this year. One of his partners is out on maternity leave. Another is a first-year teacher who was actually his student teacher last year. And so he is running the grade level, and he's doing an amazing job of it. And we are just so proud of Johnny Alvarez, and we congratulate him for this accomplishment. Instead of flowers, we got a jerky. We thought you'd appreciate that better.
For Shalom Peaks Middle School, so as districts throughout Monterey County, the schools select their teacher of the year, and then the districts are allowed to send both a middle school teacher on for county middle school teacher of the year competition and an elementary teacher on for elementary teacher of the year. So for Shalom Peaks Middle School, as both the school and the middle school district representative, Mr. Thomas.
All right, last but not least for sure, Mr. Baker has been with us for a number of years. And I like to refer to him as like the jack of all trades, because when he first started with us, he was in our, what was called the Phoenix Academy program, and had to pull all the tricks out of his hat from multiple grade levels and content areas. And then we moved him into several different positions each year, because that's how nice we are. But this is his second year on the 6th grade math and science team. And I feel like he's finally found a home, yeah, where he feels a little more stable. He's not jumping around all the time. His teammates wanted to make sure we knew that he is a great team player and works very hard to meet the needs of all students. He is willing to share his best practices, and he works hard as his team, sharing his experience and positive voice to meet the needs of all students. And he does a lot for the 6th grade team. I would like to add that this year in particular, I have been very pleased, but also thankful to have Mr. Baker on our team. He has stepped up into a leadership role and has really kind of taken 6th grade math by the reins and said, I got this and we're gonna move forward. He's even stepping into our PLN and SBL positions that are open because we're losing Ms. Soto to, or Ms. Lopez now, to maternity leave in 2 weeks. And Mr. Baker is happily saying, I got this, we can do this. So we're super excited to honor Tom this year. He's definitely deserved it. Thank you.
Thank you.
For the 24-25 school year, our district representative for the Elementary Teacher of the Year competition at the county level is Mr. Juan Menendez. Come on over for a photo.
Congratulations to all the awardees today. It's a pleasure to have you in our KC elementary and middle school family. It's an honor to have you guys show up every day and do what you do endlessly and dedicated to our students and families. For that, we're forever grateful. Any other words from the board?
Echo the same thing. Congratulations to each and every one of you guys. You guys are well deserved, and we're happy to have you guys part of the KCUSD family. Thank you guys.
Again, ditto and ditto. I know this is, no, it's just piggyback. So again, from all of us, thank you. We appreciate all your tremendous work, your help with our kids, your many years of service. Yes, he is your dada. And, you know, we're just grateful to see even some of our teachers who do have their children growing within our system as well eventually. So it's just great to see the growth of our family in KCUSD. And those who, like he was saying, I guess he had a student teacher, now she's a teacher. It's just great to see that evolve within our district. So congratulations to all of you. And Mr. Menendez, good luck. We wish you the best. Oh, that's right, Mr. Baker. Sorry about that. That's right, we got R2. So good luck to both of you. Stole our thunder, yes.
I was gonna say, the shout out goes to all our classified too, and Karen, you're an inspiration, full-time employee and full-time job, school. Thank you for all you do for our district, all of you. We will now go ahead and move on to public comment. Is there any public comment submitted? No? Is there any members of the audience wishing to speak on something that is not on tonight's agenda? Having no public comment, we'll go ahead and close that, and we'll move on to the superintendent's report.
Okay. Well, this week, we have elementary parent conferences occurring at all 3 elementary sites. And then next week, we'll roll into the progress report fair at Shalom Peaks. So if you adjust your driving schedule around campuses, you'll see everyone dismissing a little bit earlier this week while they meet with parents. Our DLI task force met since we had our last board meeting, and then we meet again on Monday. So again, as shared before, that task force is working on our DLI framework for our district that will come forward to you later this spring. Congratulations to everyone. That's okay. And then I also want to share publicly, I shared in an update as well, Farm Day, we had Farm Day the day after our last board meeting. And following Farm Day, Cinda received a message from a gentleman that he wanted to speak to me, but he didn't really say why. So you always wonder, of course, it's horrible. We go to the negative every time we hear, I need to talk to you, and that's horrible. But we always say, we hear the negative, we rarely have people coming forward to share the positive. It's just the way it goes once you're in management. So when I connected with him the next week, he was calling and he opened with, I am not calling to share anything bad. And he was calling because he wanted to express how pleased he and others were at Farm Day with our students. And he said that he and some of the other presenters that work Farm Day, this happened to be the sheep herder, had been doing this for 14 years, and that our district is always so polite, and that this year it was just so exceptional, and he wanted us to know that we should be so proud of our students and our staff for what they present on behalf of us at Farm Day. So that was something I wanted to definitely have on the record, said publicly, because that was pretty exciting. He also called the County Office of Education when he didn't get through to us immediately. He called the county office to share that with them. So I also got an email back from Dr. Gus, County Superintendent of Schools, to let us know the same information. A quick, very brief construction update. There's more in Mr. Sims' report for you, but we are well underway at the KCAM campus. You can see things happening daily. If you walk over closely, you'll see that it must be, I don't know, how far down is it, John and Tiffany, is about this far down, where they're trenching down, because again, these aren't portable classrooms. These are modular classrooms, but they are flush with the ground. So they look just like permanent build once they're completed. So we're underway with that. And Joni and I also had a meeting with the architects to begin looking at renderings for Santa Lucia, and we'll be meeting with Mel and Mike to share with them tomorrow. And then, of course, through the process, we share with staff, we share with you. But we're already thinking forward to our next project as a result of our bonds that we passed in 2020. Also, a big thank you and shout out to Dr. Ruby and our site administrators. They pulled together and held over 8 meetings in less than 3 weeks to gather all the input needed for our community schools grant, and it was submitted last Friday or 2 Fridays ago? Last Friday. It's all a blur. So from when we returned from spring break until from winter break till the last or first Friday of February, they managed to get all of that done. So fingers crossed that we receive funding for all 4 schools. Again, those are individual grants that you must apply for. So we could be awarded from anything from none to all 4. We're hoping for all 4, of course. Our high school district also submitted a grant, as well as Greenfield, the high school being a feeder to both. So what would be fantastic, of course, is if all of us in South County were to receive these grants, we could really do some amazing things, and perhaps in partnership across the districts. We will not hear till the end of the school year. We also just completed our mid-year 95% coaching cycle in kinder through 2nd grade. And Dr. Eidman and the administrators have reported that we're really seeing some great results. The data at mid-year was very promising. And finally, for our parents, we've had 2 sessions now of the Scholar System with Dr. Rios and his team. We had more than double the number of parents show up last night than had last week. So if that continues, we're going to run out of space quickly. That'd be fantastic. We also had the kickoff for our next Family Leadership Institute with Consuelo. And as I report every month, we are still looking for members of our Citizens Bond Oversight Committee. So if you know of anyone that might be interested, please direct them to our website. And finally, you have the upcoming events for the next month. Dr. Seuss Read Across America Day will be happening in just a couple of weeks. You have opportunities both to read in classrooms or to read in the evenings, depending on which site it is that you're visiting. So please, if that works for you on that date, please reach out to volunteer. That is all I have for this evening.
Any questions or comments from the audience or board? Okay. Thank you, Jennifer. We'll go ahead and move on to reports from administrators. Is there any questions or comments from the board and or audience?
Just have a quick question for Ida. Is she here?
Ida's not here, but I can give it a shot.
Oh, well, I'm just kidding. So, just really quick, because she mentioned in her report that they were gonna start implementing the share tables to reduce the food and waste.
Right.
So I just wanted to know how that was going.
The
For
last
each
time
site.
I spoke with Ida about the share tables. Yeah. Does somebody want to make a comment? Perfect.
it out, and students are able to take seconds if they want. They don't leave the cafeteria, they get what they want, they go back and sit down, and it's been really good. It's so disappointing. It's been for years and years when we tell kids, no, you can't share that with anybody, you have to eat your own food, and it just gets thrown in the trash. And this way, kids are able to have seconds if they want, have another milk if they want, and it's working really well.
Tiffany pretty much covered what I was going to say too. But what we do notice, there's bins, and almost without fail, the food that is brought to the bins is almost all taken by the end, so it has been effective.
At that time, it's during their lunch or it's nothing that they can take home. Okay, I wasn't sure in regards to that, so.
Any other questions or comments? I appreciate the pictures that were included in the reports from all the sites, so that was nice to see. Dr. Ruby, I had a couple questions. How were the resources that you guys were working with, or what was the sessions like for let me pull up a report. I think it was for students that are dealing with immigration and the trauma, and then also the resources that you guys are working with the liaisons to distribute to families. Can you talk a little bit about that? That's the Santa Rita one? Okay. And then also. And then also for the bullet point of working with homeless families to provide resources. Two-part question. One, how many families more or less would you say that you had? And then two, what were the resources, if you don't mind sharing? Thank you. No other questions or comments from the board, audience?
No, just pretty much congratulate Ruby on your new position. So congratulations.
We will now go ahead and move on to the consent agenda. Is there any items that you would like to have pulled and discussed separately? If so, I'll go ahead and entertain that now.
I would like to pull item number 11, approval of out-of-state travel, coast-to-coast federal advocacy trip.
Okay, any other items pulled? Okay, I will now entertain a motion for the consent agenda of all items without 11, pulling 11 out.
I make a motion to accept consent agenda as presented with the removal of item 11.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Okay, we'll go ahead and pull number 11 and open it up for discussion. So Jennifer, did you want to lead that
Sure.
discussion?
Sure. This trip is something we've talked about somewhat over the years. This is the fourth time that this is made available coast to coast. It's a partnership between the California School Boards Association and ACSA, the Association of California School Administrators. So this year, when we were down at our CSBA conference, we talked about it a little more and we heard about it. So it sparked that conversation, and there was a lot of interest, especially because of the training that it provides for board members and the superintendent in regards to how to advocate, how to speak to your legislators about pertinent issues in education. And so we're bringing it forward because if this is something that we want to pursue, we need to be doing this quickly as far as reservations, because it is in Washington, D.C., and it is in April. The question that I was posing or wanted to pose tonight as well, though, is first of all, whether or not you want to proceed. And then the second one being whether or not this is the year that we do want to go. So when we look at, and fiscally, we do have the budget set aside. Not everyone attended CSBA this year as we normally we're a team that really goes together, all 8 of us, but it just didn't work out with calendars this year. So the budget that would have normally have covered that can cover this. So it's not a financial issue in that we don't have the budget set aside, but thinking fiscally what we get in return for this, and is this the correct spring to go to DC to advocate for education? When you go, you're not in the offices of all legislators. We would be in the offices of California legislators. So they spend the first 2 days training you on, again, how to advocate and what our pertinent issues are. They want to hear ours, but there's also those that are presented to us. And then you essentially make a list of what your priorities are for you personally, what you would like to go advocate for. And they partner you up. They have to limit how many people in a room, so you may or may not get your top choices. But it's the offices of California legislators that you're speaking to. So whether or not that's going to have a significant impact, this is in April with everything we're hearing federally of what's going on. That was why I wanted to point out, is this the right year? Or do we want to consider a future year? If this is the year you want to do it, then we can you vote yes and we can proceed. If you want to say, let's plan on this next year, let's make sure that we have the budget and plan ahead for this and intentionally write it in our plans. That's another option. I also did just receive this afternoon, and you probably did too from CSBA, our California Legislative Action Week is in March. And that obviously would be here with our state legislators on our issues pertinent just to our state as well. That one is virtual. So I have not been, but I've been talking to others since there was an interest expressed.
You want me to ask them if they want to go, or?
Well, it's like I said, discussion again, and it needs to be an open session discussion. So that's why we're sitting here tonight having this discussion, because it is a vote of whether or not we're going to do this, and it's an item it's not a closed session item. So therefore, we need to speak about it tonight.
All right, so who's interested in going?
Ditto. Sorry, yes. I'm for it, but for next year.
It's just not knowing the Serenity right now, what's going on. So it perhaps is to the best of our to use our resources for next year rather than this year.
I would say the same thing, wait until next year.
I'm good with not going, but I think this is a good year to advocate for education, especially with what's going on with the education department. But that's just my 2 cents, but, okay, so do we still have to vote on this, or can we just, it's eliminated, since no one's going this year?
Well, you can vote to deny it, that we don't want to go. And I agree, it's an important year to advocate. It's whether we're going to have an impact when we're speaking with only the legislators from California this spring, of all springs. That's my question.
So I make a motion, we deny the consent agenda number 11, approval of out-of-state travel.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay, we will now go ahead and move on to our action items. Our first action item is approval of MOU with CSEA Chapter 494, ELOP Opportunities Incentive. Joni?
So I've been working in collaboration with CSCA, and in order to come up with an MOU that is equitable to the MOU that was entered into with the teachers union last year, in order to give CSCA members an opportunity to lead ELOP courses at the end of the school day. And this MOU essentially would give those CSE members who were approved to do this a $50 add-on to their regularly hourly pay for the time that they would be teaching those classes. Up to 2 hours per day is the limit. So I also have the very next agenda item is for an assistant in sort of the same manner. And the assistant's pay, the add-on would be $30 an hour for that as well. So the district is recommending that the board approve these two MOUs, which we do have a tentative agreement with the union on.
We'll start with item A. Any questions or comments from the audience or board? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve action item A, approval of MOU with CSEA for ELOP lead position.
I second.
All in.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we'll move on to item B. Joni just discussed it, so any questions or comments from the audience or board? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve action item B, approval of MOU with CSEA 494 for the assistant position.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, moving on to action item C, approval of District Sunshine openers for negotiations with KCETA.
So as a part of our annual bargaining with KCETA, the district would like to open Articles 7, Articles 9, and Articles 13 for negotiations with the unit this fiscal year. And the district would like to recommend that the board approve us these sunshine items for the negotiations.
Any questions or comments from the audience or board? Having none, I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve action item C, approval of District Sunshine openers for negotiations with KCETA.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry. Aye.
Aye. Moving on to action item D, approval of CSBA board policy updates, second reading. Jennifer?
Okay, so presented for your approval this evening. You had these as a first reading last month, so here it is for your approval now. Again, as always, most board policies are due to a change in legislation.
Any questions or comments from the board or audience? Having none, I'll entertain a motion.
Approval of CSBA board policy update, second reading.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Moving on to information item. KCTA list of sunshine openers for negotiation. And I don't know which one of you two is
I
gonna.
was going to say, we really didn't discuss it. Simply presented for your info, you have KCETA's sunshine items. They would like to discuss Article 10, 13, 14, and 15. But it's not, it's simply an information item for you.
Is there any input from the audience or board? No? Okay. Moving on to communication from board members. So we received a letter from MCOE, review of our first intern report.
You have attached, oops, Joni, sorry, did you want to speak to this? It's simply our approval from the county.
So the county has reviewed the first interim as it was presented, and essentially they're stating that they agree with the recommendation of the district that we would remain in a positive status based upon the budget that was submitted.
Any questions or comments on that item? Okay, our second selection is, or the second point is selection of interview panel for the King City Unified School District Scholarship and Award. So we have an interview night, and then we also have a banquet. 2 different dates.
You guys, if this is your time to discuss that and kind of decide how you want to proceed with that. If you wish to physically be there for the interview night, that then you might think something like that.
I know I personally like to do the interview. I know there was a couple years I couldn't personally make it, and I was asking if anybody else was willing to. If not, then we can just do that selection. Thankfully, I am willing to do it this year. If no one else would like to do the interview, I mean, I understand. I mean, I'm available if nobody else would like to. I know we have 2 new board members, so if you all would like to take part of the interview, that's fine. I'm not going to feel bad if you all do. I don't mind stepping aside. But I would say to go back to doing interviews for this year.
It is a neat experience. You get to know not just the document that was submitted, but you get to know a little bit more depth, and they really do open up a lot more. So it is a really cool experience.
How you're going to issue your scholarship. Just a reminder that your scholarship is $6,000 total. So you divide that up however you choose. You can go up to $6,000. Remember, whatever
Any takers on the interview panel?
You can count me in.
There's one.
I wouldn't mind doing it, but if she wants to, that's fine too.
You can have as many as you want.
Okay, then.
You just don't discuss it there amongst yourselves, but
Okay. So, Tony, Wendy, and myself? Tony, Wendy, me.
I bet you one of them doesn't show up.
Yeah. I did it by myself too.
Okay, did you guys want to discuss the banquet today, or can we come back to that one? It's in April. Who wants to go to there?
Again, if nobody wants to do it, I'm open to it.
I didn't go last year, so I'll go this year.
There you go. Okay, now, any communication from the board?
A quick one. I was able to go to Farm Day. It was great seeing all that experience out there. So it was an awesome experience. Now seeing it on a whole different perspective. All our students and teachers out there having fun. So that's great. We were able to be part of Consuelo's FLI kickoff, which was great. And big ol' kudos to Mr. Osborne and Ms. Muter for being there, and you got to experience a little bit of what we experienced back then, and it's nice seeing our local teachers show up and be there. So thank you guys for taking your time and being there. Both nights, language wasn't a barrier for you guys, so thank you guys and for having that time with our parents. So thank you, and thank you, Dr. Ruby, for all your time and hard work into bringing in this program.
I'm just basking in this because I feel like I kept fighting and fighting and fighting, and everybody would look at me like, why are you arguing to bring something? But now, once everybody else experience it, now they know what I'm talking about. So I'm just, it is a game changer, definitely. And when I first came across Consuelo, I don't remember which one of the Jennifers it was, but I was like, you have to come and see her speak, or, so that was Esther Cabe, and here we are a year later, and now we're seeing the dynamic magic of her work in our district and our parents. But I think the best takeaway is clearly when we see our staff engage with our parents, that's something that you would have to experience for yourself so you could be able to actually describe it. But the biggest takeaway from me is just the empowerment that it brings to our parents. Having these parents stand there and then take charge and then become the leaders that they are, because it doesn't necessarily make them a leader. They're leaders, they're parents. But just seeing them take charge, come out of their shell, like I said, just that empowerment, it's just a big takeaway for me. And I'm just happy that with everyone's hard work, Dr. Ruby, Jennifer, everybody, Dr. Eidman went with me sometime last year, I think it was, right, to see this in action at another district. So just everyone having that buy into it, I appreciate it. Thank you. I've always said it. It's what our families need. And it's not that, we can't do it here, but it sometimes takes that outside perspective to come in and just make that change. So I'm just glad that everybody else is recognizing it too, and I wasn't delusional. So, but yeah, it's really nice to be able to have that here at home, and then, to see the impact it does. So thank you for everyone who's really been dedicated to putting that together and making it come true. Any other comments or things you would like to
Just a
share?
little bit.
Okay, go.
Just really quick for Ms. Reed. So I went to CPMS. I did not program this. I did not know that the Yonder guy, sorry, from LA County was going to be there. And so he caught me on the way there, and we were just talking about the Yonder pouches. So one thing I did, I'm not sure if he mentioned to you after the fact, but he said that he spoke to some of the students who at first said that they hated the whole Yonder idea, and eventually started getting used to it and saw how it was actually helping them during their school day. One thing, I'm not sure if it's part of the plan for our upcoming meetings, but what I would like to see, at least by the end of the school year, if possible, is even if it's through your teacher communication or even some of your students, I would like to know how much of an impact it has made through these months that we've had the Yonder pouches. I know we just implemented it last month, but what have we seen in regards to the growth, in regards to the impact, and the pros and cons of it, if that could be available before the school year ends. But so far, what he was saying, he spoke to a lot of the kids, and they are for it now, the majority that he spoke to. So that was good to hear. Also with CPMS, I was able to help over at the concession stand at the basketball game. I honestly do not like to volunteer those type of things because my competitive nature kicks in, and I don't like to hear all the noises because then I feel like I'm gonna go coach some of the kids. But that being said, I was just wondering if there is a possibility in regards to the ELOP funding, if there are parents or teachers who are willing to help in that field. I mean, can we look into getting a scoreboard? Because I was seeing them use a little small one, a handheld little scoreboard. I mean, is that even a possibility, or do we have to look like for donations?
Do you mean so that would be a scoreboard for the facility at the fairgrounds? So it's not a facility we own. That would definitely be an issue when it comes to
That
ELOP
would
funds.
be-
Yeah.
okay, I
That
was
would
just
be, that'd be a
asking,
huge job. No,
Betty.
you're
Sorry,
correct.
Miss
It's a good- hey,
Financial.
No, it's a good question to ask, but yeah, that's,
They did have a
Not
little
our
port, but it was so cute, but it was so small. Like, it's like, okay, that quarter's over, but it's like, okay, can we do something a little bit more than just that little thing? So. Okay,
so what the
But a
thing it
little bit bigger
raises,
one.
right, is looking at what are other options we have. But
Okay.
purchasing a digital scoreboard for an agency that's not ours, no, we cannot do
Okay.
that with the ELOP funds.
Okay, but we could look into something bigger. Okay. Awesome. Also, I'm not sure, I know you didn't touch on it, but if you wanted to address it, there will be, and she was asking in regards to immigration, there will be a public town hall type of thing going on with our city on the 23rd, if it hasn't changed. I'm not sure if you know more of the details, I don't have the flyer with me, but there will be, you could say, an immigration forum for our families and community members here for our city. Did you have more info on that?
That will be this Sunday at Shalone Peaks. It's a resource fair from 2 to 3, and then the presentation from 3
3
to
to 5.
4 or 3 to 5.
3
I'm
to
trying to
5.
remember off the top of my head from the flyer, but it's at Shalone Peaks.
So I'll be for this Sunday. Also, the March 2nd, I'm just putting it out there. Obviously, it's not mandatory, but March 2nd, if you have not seen it, for those who would like to, just putting it out. It is the Night of Remembrance, and that's going to be on behalf of First Baptist Church, just with, as you all know, March 3rd will hit a year from our mass shooting, as everybody knows it as, with our 4 victims who passed away. So they will be having a Night of Remembrance at First Baptist Church at 6 p.m. For those who would like to join the rest of the community members there. But yeah, those are the, I guess, 2 major town hall community events that are going on. We, in the immigration forum that they're having on that workshop, we will have representatives from the different districts there, as well as some of our council members and some of the members of our police department as well. So we're hoping that this will be something positive that comes out of it, but just trying to provide more information out there to our community. So that's it for me.
Any other board members have anything they'd like to share? No? Okay. So we'll move on to advanced planning. We have a review board planning calendar, and it looks like we are due for some review and setting of board goals, right, in March. So I think that we probably will have to get some dates to send of when we can start on that. And I believe that in that same note, our next regular board meeting is the 12th of March. And Cinda will also be needing some availability for a needed expulsion hearing. So between the week of March 12th, that we have our regular board meeting, not counting that Wednesday, to I believe the next week's Friday, or you guys are still unsure about that?
Yes, Dr. Ruby, the incident that started the timeline was on February 7th, correct? Or Ms. Reed? Okay, so February 7th was day one, and we must schedule within 30 days, correct? So in my counting from February 7th, we have 30 school days, and of course, Monday was a holiday. So the 30th school day is actually Monday, March 24th. So that would allow us to schedule during the week of the 17th, if you wanted to look at a slightly larger window.
Okay, so we don't want to have two board meetings on one week. We have the following week. Any availability? I'm available any day at 6:30. So we need a quorum. That's three of us.
The week of the 17th, right? We're looking at 17th March, that week.
I will not be able to on March 17th. I have open house. So any other day I can.
Same.
What is,
I could do Thursday.
so Thursday's the 20th,
Mhm.
okay? Thursday, 6:30? Thursday, 6:30? Wendy? Terry? So Thursday, the 20th, 6:30. Okay, so with that, we have our next regular board meeting on March the 12th, and we have a special board meeting for expulsion on March the 20th. Okay. With that, I would like to thank everyone for joining us tonight, and we will now reconvene into closed session. Thank you.